Hi and welcome to my PlayHouse, and today I'm going to be talking a little bit about storage, because everybody has storage nowadays. It's not like that we don't save our stuff anywhere, and as a YouTuber I produce a lot of storage. All these videos, they take up quite a amount of disk space, but well, I'm really not complaining. I was debating this over at Rinoa's channel, where he was posting something about his storage problems, and he was converting all his files so that they would take up less space. I was trying to just suggest to get a Synology box for him, like this one. And I just came to think of it, well, more people might be interested in knowing what a Synology box is. It's kind of just a little box, and we're gonna have a look inside of it. The idea is that you install 4 hard drives in this thing. This is a 4-drive unit. You can just see that, a peek inside. This is an old one. Nowadays the Synology boxes has nice bays, where you just put the disk into a bay and you plug it in, and there's connections and stuff. This one has cables and stuff, but you put in 4 disks or 3 disks or 2 disks, but this one can do 4. And I would highly recommend just using all 4 disks, because that's maximum protection. There can be some power issues if every disk you put in uses a little bit of power, so you might not want to do that. But this is an old one. This is a CS407e, and I do believe that the 7 over here means that this is from 2007. The first 4 is that this is a 4-bay edition. CS, I have no idea. The normal thing is to go out and get a disk like this. It's a disk that you plug into the back of your computer, and you copy your files over to a disk like this, disk station. This is a Western Digital. I've taken this apart because this was the cheapest way to get 4 terabytes disk. At some point you bought a case like this, you took it apart and took out the disk. So I have these disks running in a Synology box at home. But these are, I have all the parts going around inside. This is, I have to hide my face recognition thingy. Yeah, one of these. And this is an okay solution, but these can die. This is just one hard drive, and if this one hard drive decides to hit the dust, well, your data is lost, or at least one of the copies of your data is lost. So what you do on a Synology box like this, it can also be another brand in here on the shelf. Can you see that? Yeah. Oh, I hit it. Right here I have a QNAP box sitting around, and I actually use this here at my PlayHouse. But what you do is you get a Synology box. You can get a used one, you can get a new one. They're actually pretty expensive. A box like this would set you back a couple of $100. You might as well look into what the price is of a new one. But you put in 4 disks and you make a RAID system. You have different options for doing RAID on this box. You can do a RAID 1, which is a mirror. You can also do a RAID 0. That would be stupid if this is for protecting your data. RAID 0 is good for a huge amount of space, but it's very bad for protection, because if just one of the disks die in a RAID 0, everything is history, right? So, but let's go in and put some disks to this, and it's probably easier to explain that. So I have been vacuum cleaning my house for good old hard drives, and yeah, before you start writing that, oh, green Western Digital are not supposed to go in the Synology box, there are special red ones. Yeah, you go buy those. This is just for testing and trying out, and I have no idea if this even works. Maybe this is today this one hits the trash, because I think it might be broken. I have a, what is this, 250 gigabyte, 2 terabytes, and 2 750 gigabytes. These two are Seagates, and they should be the same kind of disk. So we're gonna try and put those in the box. Just to make this really easy, I will start by putting in one disk. You can open this. There used to be 4 screws, now there are 2. Let's open this up. And there is some explanation on top of the box here. Let's zoom in on that. It does say something, make sure to attach saved SATA cables by order of illustration. So here is how there's a system board on the bottom, and there is power cables and there is SATA cables. And you put in drive 1 is the top one, 2, 3 and 4. It's pretty easy. So let's do that. As the first disk I'm gonna plug in, I'm gonna put in this 250 gigabytes. And that will be disk 1, so I'll put that in the top and connect some power to it. And I'll just have to check the wires. That was the first one, which is this one. And it goes in that way. I think I'll go get some screws for it. On the side here, you can see the holes from the hard drive here. And you can actually put in 3 screws on each side. I do believe that I'm just gonna be putting in one. So now we need the cables down here. I took one out and I think I have one here. It's a little red one, but I do believe this is too short, and that's why it's there. And I have another one here, and that should be long enough. I have used this before, so we should be able to plug that in there. And then down to this is kind of the system board here. This is more or less a small PC. It can really do a lot of stuff. But this one is so old that it's a 32-bit version of it, so there is some limitations to it. So this should be enough to get this up and running. I'll just loosely put on the cover here. And stuff this in there and put in a screw. Now we have mounted a disk. Let's just go over it. On the front here, we have a status light diode, we have a LAN light diode, we have a power on, power off, we have a light diode for the 4 disks, and some air intakes. On the back, we have one fan on this, and we have a Kingston lock up here for locking the system so that it's harder to steal it. We have a power switch for it has kind of a weird connection, but it runs off 12 volts, it looks like. And it has a LAN connection, 1 gigabit LAN connection. It has 2 USBs. It's actually possible to put on 2 storage boxes, like extra hard disks sitting beside it, which is pretty neat. Of course, those disks, there is no security on those, and as far as I know, you're not able to put them into the RAID on the system. You can't do that. And there's a little reset button. If everything else fails, you can press this and it will reboot. So let's try and put some power on this. Oh, this one has a little LED. I have 2 power supplies. I'm not sure. One of them I think might be broken. So it needs a network connection to be really fun. I have moved it a little bit for the network connection to better be able to reach. Now we'll try and see if there's power on this. And it does power up. Now it's powered. As you might have noticed, there is no screen on this thing. So we have to go up to Synology's webpage and download some software to find this. So I just found my laptop here, and we're gonna go to Synology's page. Synology's home page here, and we are gonna go for the support. and they have something they call a download center. So we're gonna go there, and here we can choose the model. So we'll choose select type, and this is a 4-bay right there, and we can scroll down. There is a lot of different models. I found that this one is very near the bottom. So this is one of the first models that Synology did of this box. So this was a CS407e, and it's right over there too. It says it right there. So we're gonna select that one and see what we get. The latest firmware for this is version 3.1. This is old as hell, but well, that's what we can get for this box. So, but we can get the Synology Assist, and that's the one we need. So I'm gonna be downloading the exit file for that one. It's downloading over here, and it's 41 megabytes. So, and I'm using wireless, so I'll be right back. Okay, suddenly that went very fast. So I'm just gonna be pressing that. We can minimize this. Yes, I wanna run it. Thank you. Go, go, go. Minimize the browser. And I get to select the language. I could select Danish, but I'm gonna go with English just to help you guys. Synology Assist, wanna next. Do you agree? I agree. Next. Where do I wanna install it? Install. And it installed that. And we can now run it. So we're running. And it will try and find our Synology, and my antivirus thingy is complaining, and it did not find anything. I'll try that again. Oh, it did find something. Sorry. Okay, it did find my Synology box. I have actually 4 Synology boxes running. I have this Cube Station, which apparently is why it's called CS. And there's 2 virtual Synology boxes, and there is one on a piece of physical hardware. If you haven't seen that video, I'll try and link it down here, so you can see how to make a Synology box on just a PC. But this one, these are ready and okay and everything. The top one has gotten an IP number from the DHCP server, but it's not installed. So we'll mark that one and we will install. What this does is that it takes some firmware and it puts it on the first disk, and probably I need to download that firmware. I'll see what it says. It says exactly the same as before. I just didn't read what it said. So we'll go back to here and we will download the path file for this Synology box. This is only I was gonna say this was really small, and then it's downloading 155 megabytes. Okay, I stand corrected. Okay, it's just about done. 450, 455, it's done. So we can minimize this again, and we can go browse. Where did I save that? I usually save it right here on the download, and there it is. Yeah, there it is. So we have that. We can select quick setup or complete setup. We're just gonna go with the quick setup. We just wanna get this up and running. And it gives us a lot of numbers. It's fine. So what do we have here? It's applying network. It's formatting system partition, which it's doing now. It's deleting that disk. Doesn't matter. I just took that out of an old PC. Just needed something. It seems I've given away all my small disks. That was really stupid. It completed formatting. Now it's copying the DSM, which is the kind of the operating system for the Synology. It's copying that over to this only disk that is over here. Let's get that into view. It's blinking nicely. And right now the status is yellow. I think it will become green when we install that, and it sees that it's running and good. 4%, that's gonna take a while too. Oops. I was busy updating my Google Plus with pictures from this, and now it's completed without me. How rude. Well, it has installed the operating system, and I do think it has booted as well. So let's close this. It says that it has taken the IP number. 30. So let's see if it answers that. Anything? Yes, pops right up. There it is, an old one. Oh, what is the password? I think it's just admin. Logging in, loading, and we're ready to do stuff. I'm gonna shut it down and install some more disks. Let's just see if we can do that together. I'll just close this quick start. Sure, yes, we want to see it again. To shut down the system, you just press up here and you can restart, or you can shut it down. We're just gonna shut it down. Yes, please. Powering off. There it is, it's shut off. I put in the other 3 hard drives. I'm almost certain that at least one of these drives does not work, so I'm probably taking this apart and stuff more than once. But I'll test this and see what happens. I just powered it on. It's probably gonna be complaining about one or 2 or 3 or more of the hard drives. Let's see what happens. Right now it says that they're present, so let's go in and see if the computer will see them. Just try and refresh this. See if we're still on that page. That's still good. Default password admin. And we get the quick setup. So let's set up some volume and folders. Okay, it just tells us where to go do that. So we do that here. Now we can do a quick or a custom. I'll just minimize this. We will do the custom one. Next, we'll take multiple volumes in RAID. Right there. And we will create a disk group. Because we don't have a disk group. I don't think so, at least. No, there is no disk group. We have to create that first. And the disk group is like the RAID with the disks that you put into that RAID. Here we have the disks. It actually sees all the disks. That's incredible. They're really old and bad. We have a 232 gigabytes, 1.82 terabytes, and the two 750 gigabytes. They're only about 700 in here. We'll select next. All data on these disks will be deleted. Yep. And here's the really smart thing. Synology has their own RAID, and that's called Synology Hybrid RAID SHR. And that's the thing you want if you're using a Synology box. That enables you to use different sizes disks in a RAID. If you were to go with like a RAID 5 here, those disks that we just put in, if we were to make a RAID 5 on those, the smallest disk would be the one setting the size. We don't want that. We'll go for that one. Here we can choose if we want 1 disk fail torrents or 2 disks fail torrents. This means that if 1 disk dies up here, we are still good. Down here, we are still good if 2 disk dies. Every time if you do this one, you lose 2 disks of storage in the box. You increase security, but you do lose another disk for fault tolerances. We're gonna go with 1. It wanna do a check thing on all the disks before we do this. That would take forever on this thing. I'm gonna select no. It's really stupid, but this is video. I don't have a whole weekend. With the disks we have put in, I can see that the capacity is right now 1.58 terabytes. And if we had like put in there all the small disks, if this was a regular RAID, the smallest one was 332 gigabytes, right? And we would get 3 disks of storage out of that, so we could multiply that by 3, and that would be 696 gigabytes of storage. Now instead we get 1616 because we're using the Synology RAID system. What it does is it makes RAID on blocks instead of disks. It takes the hard drive and it divides it up into blocks, and it uses that instead. So this is quite an improvement, and we get the same security. So let's go next, and here we just get to confirm the settings, and I'll just press apply. And it's gonna be saving and probably doing some formatting stuff that will take forever. There we are, and it starts blinking over here, and it's gonna be creating and initializing the disks up there. Okay, now it has started, and I do remember this taking quite a while, and well, 1.23%. I'll be back in, that could take an hour or two. Okay, we're almost there, 99.91% done. Very exciting to see what it does when it's completed that. So now it's telling us that we are using ext3, the file system. That's the old one. The new one that we are using on Synology boxes today is the version 5, but this one, the old 3.1 version of this, is only able to do the version 3. The Synology box is also only a 32-bit version, and that's why the firmware is no longer available. You can't upgrade it anymore. You can't go higher than 3.1. So this took quite some time, but now we are ready to actually use this Synology box for something. And I've created a volume, or actually it created its own volume. I have created a share, and I'm calling it my PlayHouse backup. And also over here I created an iSCSI target just to do that. 500 gigabytes, ready for an iSCSI target. So the plan was that I wanted to back up all my raw footage for all of these videos that I'm doing. So if we go out here, I have here my folder with all my footage for this, and that takes up 2.21 terabytes of data right now. So I do not have enough space on the Synology box. Let's just see what we have. We have 1.55 terabytes available. So I will have to expand my Synology box, and now I can't really put in an extra disk because I've already taken up all 4 spots, but I can exchange a drive. But let's just go copy some data first. Now I'm doing this through my laptop, so this is rather slow, but here I have all the videos that I've done, all the videos I've ever done. I've never deleted anything, so there is like, well, I'm not totally up to date with backing up this. Video number 300, and oh, there's a jump right there. So this took quite a while. Now it's only about a minute left. 140 megabytes. Well, it's almost faster to download from the internet than copy this data. I should have put a cable into my laptop. This is just taking too long. I think it took the full 35 minutes. 30 seconds left. So the first file is over, and I do know that I do not have enough room for copying all of my stuff over here, so I might as well upgrade this and let it do that overnight. And I did go out there and I found another hard drive. This is a 2 terabyte disk, so we're gonna be installing that. But first we're gonna shut down the system again, and we're gonna be upgrading it with data on it. That's why I copied over this first folder, so that we can see that happen. So I'm just gonna go up here and shut down. Are you sure? I am so sure. So it's turned off now. I'm gonna disconnect power and the network just to make sure. There. And I'm just gonna be upgrading the smallest disk here, and that was the top one, and that was a 250 gigabyte disk. So, and of course it was the only one that I mounted screws in. That was really stupid.
When I put in the other disks, the system automatically copies the operating system for the Synology box, which we installed on the first drive here. It copies that to the other drives as well. As long as there's just one disk left from the original setup, you should be good to go. So now there's 3 disks from the original setup, so this should work just fine. Put back power and put the network connection back, and we're gonna go around the front and power it back on. So the Cube Station is powered off. As we can see over here, it's powered off, and this disk that we installed it on originally is right there. So we're gonna power it on, and it should be complaining at some point that disk 1 has failed. That does that we can integrate the new disk into the array, and we get additional disk space out of that. Yep. Now it's complaining it's missing a hard drive, and this is how a Synology box makes you know that there is something wrong. So now we're gonna log into it again. Just gonna go here to the web browser. And log in as admin. And up here it tells me that the volume is degraded, and also here we are told that something is wrong. And very nicely they've put a little button up here to shut the mic off, because it gets really irritating very fast to hear that. But it's degraded, and what we can do here is click this button, and we should be able to see that there is, yes, it more or less just says that the disk that was in there is now missing, and it says that we should put in a equal disk or a bigger disk. So we're gonna see if we have any disks available. The disk that I put in, it comes from another disk, and that's volume number 7 here, and I'm gonna remove that, and we're gonna be adding that drive to the one that has failed. So we're gonna remove that, check. All data will be lost on the, that's the disk that I just put in, the 2 terabyte disk. I am deleting, formatting, making it available to repair my drive up here, the volume 1 that we created at the start of this video. Supposedly this takes just a little bit. There we are, it's removing that. Now it completed removing the volume 7 that was down here, so now the new disk should be available for the repair of volume 1. It's very important to be very careful when you're doing this, because this is the easiest way to delete all your data in just a second or two. So now we should be able to, then we go to manage, and we can go repair. Then we can't choose anything else, we can repair. Next, and we can see the new drive that we can include in the array. Now if I choose that, it tells me that all the data will be deleted. I am aware of that, we just did that, so it's not a problem. And it's adding that, and adding this disk instead of this 250 gigabyte disk now increases my capacity to 3.17 terabytes. And that's enough, and that's because we are exchanging a 250 gigabyte disk with 2 terabytes, and this is only possible in the Synology RAID system. If we were using like a normal RAID 5, I wouldn't see this good increase in space. I would have to exchange all 4 disks before this would happen. and I would get more capacity available to me. So we're gonna apply this, and this is probably gonna be taking all night for it to calculate this. So it actually failed the first attempt. I have to reboot the Synology box and try again. And now it has the consistency check of system volume root on this station is completed, so that's good. And now it's dividing the data on the data drive between the disks. The data is on the 3 last disks here, and they're putting in the first disk as well. Okay, as you can hear, something is wrong. Actually, disk 1, which was rebuilding, it has crashed. But it has crashed because disk 4 has crashed. So this is one of the dodgy disks that I put in this system, and it's apparently not very good. So I'm gonna try and restart this and see if it will continue, but I might just have broken it. Okay, it's the next day. This did not go according to plan. The plan was to exchange this 250 gigabyte with a 2 terabyte disk and see the increase. Well, and that actually did work, but in the middle of rebuilding the Synology box, what it does is it divides the data out on all 4 disks again. But while it was doing that, this 750 gigabyte disk crashed. And funny enough, I was actually still able to access the data, but it did say that the array had crashed. I did try and put in the 250 gigabytes again, and that did not work. So I cheated and I just put in another 750 gigabyte disk, rebuilt the whole thing. But now there is no data on it because I didn't want to save that data. I already have a copy of it, but I didn't do anything yet because I just wanted you to see how quiet this thing is when it's not doing anything. It actually shuts off the disks when they're not in use. There are settings you can go in and tell it what to do. It's very nice when it's not doing anything. So if I access it, it spins up the disk. I did not have to install the operating system on it, even though there was 2 disks out, because the operating system was still on 2 disks. So everything was good, although it crashed the array. Let's just go in and see that. There's storage manager over here. 3.17 terabytes available on this volume. I did not create a iSCSI LON again, but I could. I can just create it here, maybe. Yeah, there is the iSCSI LON. I'm not gonna do that. But I wanted to show how to just make a simple share so that you can start sharing your... this box it's a lot easier to just copy data from your computer and over on the storage box. So you want to share a folder, and you do that by going up here in the control panel, and there is a nice big icon that says shared folder. So we go in there and there is nothing, so we're gonna create a new share, and I'm gonna call this missing something, my PlayHouse backup, and it's working a little bit extra over here. And then there is, I need to give some rights to this folder. I think I do need to give admin read and write permission, and I'm just choosing to give the default guest user read privileges. Like that. That's how easy it is to make a share, and it should already be working. Let's see if it does. Here we are. It asks me for a password, username and password. I'm still just using admin, so I'm gonna use that. And I have this share. that I just created and see if we can access this. And we can. I'm gonna copy some data over there again and we'll have a look at that. Right now it's working. I actually went in and I started copying from this computer. It's copying from my NAS box over to this NAS box. So it's just to have the other computer do all the work so that I can keep using this one. Over here I have my camera suitcase and I carry around a little disc up here. Oops. I use this disc for backing up my data. I usually have all the raw footage that I record. I have that on the camera and I copy it over to my computer when I need to edit my films. And then when the film is edited and everything, I copy it back to this hard drive. And for each video there's a folder. And like on the screen, I'm copying over the first folder, the first video on my channel that I ever made. But I have some files on this disk that I would like to try and copy in as well. So, and this runs USB. This is a USB 3, but this thing only has USB 2, maybe. Yeah, it has 2. So we're gonna plug that in. So we'll just put the disk up here and plug it into one of the USB sticks down here. And it lights up. Let's go see what the computer sees. And to access this, we go into the Synology software here. Just gonna put that window a little bit to the side. And let's see if we can... it should pop up automatically. Let's see if we got anything. This is the file manager here. And that did not see anything. Control panel. And there is a external USB device thing down here. So can it see anything? Yes, I have an external USB thingy here. So let's choose that. I can eject it and format it. I'm not really want to do it. It sees it, but the file system on it is not supported. Oh. I finished copying over the first folder. This is video number 1, and I just started on video number 2. And the Synology box has this nice little resource monitor where you can see what it's doing down here. And this is an old thing, so it's stressing out the processor that is at 80%, and the memory usage, well, that's pretty straightforward. And down here is the network flow, and you can see that it's doing something. It's transferring with about 5 megabytes per second. It's not the fastest thing in the world, this good old thing, but well, it keeps your data safe. Although I can kind of hear that one of the discs in there are still bad. I have a USB stick here, and this one is formatted in FAT. And that's important for this thing because it does not read NTFS. So this USB stick is FAT formatted, and I'm gonna be plugging that into the back of it. There we are. And it will recognize the USB stick. And when I press refresh here, it should pop up down there. It automatically makes a USB share 1. And on that USB share 1, I have put my video number 3 that actually fit there. So I can right click on that. I'm gonna copy it, and I can choose where to copy it to. I'm gonna copy it to this share and OK. And hopefully that will be faster there. So that is copying down there. The computer in here is copying over there. The reason this is copying so slow is because I'm using my Wi-Fi router and it's only 100 megabits, so it's a bit slow. I do actually want to copy all my data over to the Synology box, and then I'll put it out into the data center and let it sit there and copy data. But right now, we are copying data. The USB stick just finished copying, and after it finished, performance actually went up. So this Synology Cube Station does not like to do two things at the same time. But, well, it did do the job. It just
went from about 5 megabytes per second down to about 2. So that wasn't a good idea. So I just finished copying the data. I copied 3 films or videos over to the Synology box. I have the first, second and third video that I ever uploaded, and I have one of the newer ones. I just wanted to show you the comparison. Number 1 here, that was the first video. Let's see what that takes up. It takes up 5.2 gigabytes of space right here. Right here might be a bit harder to see on the screen. Compared to the new videos that I do record these in 4K, and this is 17.4 gigabytes for one video. Got something in my eye. So that's quite a lot of disk space that takes up. But in my experience, the hard drives really grows way faster than my needs. I do still remember when you copied away your MP3 files because they were taking up hard disk space. You burned them out on CDs and DVDs. And actually, my first computers, they weren't even able to play back the MP3 files in the best sound quality because the computer just wasn't fast enough. We've grown out of that one. I found some funny specs over here. Here is the Synology box, that's the model, and it actually only has 64 megabytes of memory. So that's not a lot, but it works great. Now I've moved the Synology box out here into the data center. It's sitting on top of my QNAP, and well, in many regards the Synology is actually better than the QNAP on the bottom. The QNAP is good because it has 6 bays for disks, which is pretty nice, but the Synology has the RAID system on the block level so that it can use different sizes disks and make a RAID system where you can take advantage of the disks even though they're not alike. The QNAP down here has 2 terabyte disks in it, and the Synology here has like 2 terabytes and 750 gigabyte disks. So right now I'm copying data from the QNAP and up to the Synology box. I haven't found a way where the boxes can do this themselves, so I'm just using a virtual machine over here to be the middleman and moving data over. I'm not seeing a very high data transfer on this old thing. About 7.5 megabytes per second is what I get out of it. And nowadays this is really bad, but well, this is just for long-term storage, so it doesn't really matter if it takes a long time to copy data forth and back. The chance of me actually going back and needing this data is small. I will power down the box when I'm not needing it because it does need to be powered on. I had the QNAP for that. Thank you very much for watching my videos. I hope you got a nice view into what you can do with a Synology box like this. They're fairly cheap. I'll try and link some down here. They're not very widely available used, but sometimes you can be lucky. So have a nice day. Bye bye.